Good morning, everybody. I hope this video finds you well. I've been dwelling way too much on the geopolitical aspects of the world as it undergoes this big change. We don't know what's going to happen, but there are general consensuses that seem to be manifesting. I just want to talk about a little bit about these consensuses, which is really groupthink, or what everybody thinks, given the events. And you can agree or you can disagree. I just want to cover them. The first thing is that the United States is not operating in the best interests of the United States citizenry. I think I did another video like this with some couple of points that I made, and some people disagreed with me, but I think that's pretty clear. The bridges are all in dire need and in danger of collapse. Infrastructure is pitiful. There's no high-speed trains. Can you believe it? There's no high-speed trains in the States. Still using paper money, dollar bills, greenbacks. I mean, what is this, the 18th century or what? It's terribly retarded. It's terribly backwards in the global society norms. You get better services in Nambia, Africa than you do in the United States. So why are you spending $50 billion on this black hole known as Ukraine right now? So that America's freedom can prosper in the world, or so that the unipolar reality can be, so the United States can maintain its sovereignty over the world? Isn't that ridiculous? And that's the general philosophy of just about all the non-government influenced media. Drudge Report is government influenced, bought up by and controlled by the government. It just spouts government narratives straight through it. All of them have been acquired by others. And so generally, the overall opinion, the overall impression, and everything concerning the globe right now and the United States is one that the United States is desirous to hold on to what it used to have, but does not have the ability to have that post, to maintain that role. And so the United States plans to maintain this unipolarity, I suppose you could say, is that it will, it tried to destroy Russia, failed. Its plans was to destroy Russia, then destroy China. So now it seems to be that the United States is falling back on Plan B, which is going to put a big iron curtain around Russia and China and isolate Asia so that the United States can have the rest of the world. And this will mean sanctions from hell and an embargo. And I'm sure that's what they're planning. I'm sure that's what was going on with the Biden meeting. Whatever his name is, the damn cretin. But everybody, especially in the alternative media, and myself, all agree that that's a tremendously bad idea. The United States cannot win, cannot even get to come to a draw. Why they're going through these machinations, why are they doing all this stuff? Because it's a losing proposition. They're not going to win at all. and it's only going to be antagonistic to the world and result in the United States' destruction. I've, of course, covered that many times. So generally, the situation that we're looking at right now is one of death throes. The West is dying. It's collapsing in a spectacular fashion, like the fall of Rome when it was sacked by the Vandals and the Visigoths. And that's what we're looking at. The only thing we can hope for is that the demolition of the United States, the Western Empire, the military empire, happens in compressed stages in isolation from the rest of the world. So instead of having an iron curtain around China and Russia, the iron curtain should really be around the United States, huh? Europe. There's more adventures and stuff going to be happening here in the future regarding that. And I'm sure a lot of people will be talking about the details more or less over the next couple of months. There's different aspects to all this, but from my point of view, the only aspect that really matters is your ability to go through this period of readjustment and global readjustment. And so I have to ask, are you guys doing it? Are you cutting away, trimming away from your dependency on other things? I know it's radical, but have you thought about getting a bicycle? Have you thought about getting some solar power charger? Have you thought about putting a little wind turbine here to generate a little bit of trickle electricity? Have you looked at alternative sources of food supply and building a larder? Have you been doing these things? Have you been taking the weekend and going fishing and giving it a try? Have you been doing these things? Have you tried making some of your food at home and watching how much it costs to make a meal at home from scratch compared to one buying in a restaurant filled with preservatives and GMO items? I don't recommend everybody go full-on prepper, but I do recommend prudence. Now, prepping can be anything from having a little extra money in your wallet to full hog wild. And most of prepping websites and prepping videos are full hog on wild. These people are hardcore preppers. They live for prepping. I do not advocate that. I advocate moderation in everything. Prepare yourself for change. Don't expect a drastic change. If it reaches a point of drastic change, you'll be doing better than most other people anyways. But prepare yourself for change. Uncomfortable change. As I'm seeing right now, I'm not seeing the kinds of discomfort in the United States or in the West. I refer to the United States because I'm an American. I don't see these levels of discomfort that are equal to the severity of the geopolitical changes. There has to be a balance between the two. It's not there, which means it's only just starting. It's only just now starting. Just now. While I always like to be optimistic, I don't expect the price of gas to go down. I don't expect other things to be mitigated. I expect a continuation and a worsening. if you all are an American and you're expecting elections to change everything this November, I'm sorry, people. Elections aren't going to change anything, just like the election in Australia didn't change anything. Domestic needs are not going to be funded. More money is going to go towards a war. Wars. Possibly the worst scenario possible is the United States decides to have a two-front war against the two largest economies on the planet. The level of insanity in Washington, D.C. right now is absolutely astounding. What are these people eating? Merry Christmas. And so the world is kind of like in this funk. I'm going to ask you, do you feel like the world's in a funk? Is your life in a funk? My life's in a funk. I can feel funk everywhere. And I'm in a pretty good place. I can feel the funk. It saturates my entire body. The world has to be in a funk because I can feel the funk. What is the funk? What is the funk? The funk. The funk. What is the funk? It's a feeling of disquiet and discomfort. Something you're not accustomed to. Nothing you can put your finger on it specifically. It's just this overall feeling, this overall disquiet that is slightly irksome, like a little itch on your elbow. The funk. The funk. Well, the best thing to do for this funk is proactive action. Be active. I argue that the way you get out of a funk is you do something different, maybe a little uncomfortable. By moving from discomfort, or moving from comfort to discomfort and then back again briefly, you appreciate what you have. One of the followers had a out of the blue 3 or 4 day spell with her in-laws. It was very uncomfortable for her. But when she came back, she really appreciated her existing life. And it caused her to reappraise what she's doing and appreciate it more. I never appreciated pizza until I went to prison and I didn't get it for 5 years. I didn't appreciate the banana until 5 years after I was in prison. I had my first banana. In the ADC, we weren't allowed to have fruit because you could make alcohol from it. The only fruit we were allowed to eat was stewed tomatoes. And tomatoes is a fruit. And I loved them, by the way. I'm not a big fan of boiled okra and mashed turnips. Blech. But you learn. And after I left prison, I didn't touch beans for years. God damn. So when you're in a funk, perhaps the best thing to do is these little breaks out of your comfort zone and then go back to it. Little breaks. Doesn't have to be as extreme as being with in-laws. Personally, I don't know how she did it. Me spending time with my in-laws from my first wife, my current in-laws, they're okay. My first wife's in-laws, God. That, horrible. So, you move from your comfort zone, discomfort, and then back. Little bits. That gets you out of the funk. It gives you an appraisal of what's going on. Meanwhile, you try some of these suggestions I have about cooking a little bit. Even if you can't cook, try something different, okay? A little bit of experimentation. Walk down another street that you've never walked down before. It may not be all that great. And you walk down the street you've never been before, and lo and behold, there's a little tiny little restaurant there with only a couple of chairs and a table. Go in. Who knows what adventures lie in front of you? Certainly, if I were in the UK right now, I would be really digging some of the local pubs, and the small towns, the small communities in Scotland is something I would really love to check some of that stuff out. Right now, it's outside. It's very, very humid. We've got weird, funky weather right now. It's unusual. It's usually sunny and blue skies, and right now it's just been rainy and drizzly, very moist. It's 90% humidity. Comfortable temperatures, but really very humid. And that's how I picture the British Isles. Be a great time to go out for a little sloshy walk. You know? Do something a little different. Explore a little bit. Of course, I'm a big believer in these little local museums with the local lore of the communities. They're everywhere. And if you can, go to an arboretum. Where was the last time you went to an arboretum? You know? Check out the trees and the plants. This isn't the kind of stuff that you see daily. This is stuff that's been allowed to grow for hundreds of years, and they're magnificent. Magnificent. The control of the funk is important for you to escape from this funky feeling and situation. Control your funk, control your life. And as I've said before, how you do it is up to you. But know that you must do it, because dwelling in funk is unacceptable. Be the Rufus. Be kind. Protect the little kids. Protect the little dogs, cats, kittens. Be friendly and smile. Give praise to a woman for her dress or somebody's garden outside. Say good words to people. And just move on. You're not asking for anything. You're just spreading some kindness around. Be the Rufus. Be the person that makes a difference. And get out of that funk, because you know what, people? I believe in you.
没有尽头，风景在身后走，偶尔停下来片刻，放轻松深呼吸。海点点一线，看隐藏都不远，离开城市了，发现一张崭新的脸。快乐不需要找 WiFi， 歌声在风里飞很快，吹过来是爱。蔚蓝的天空在 say hi， 偶尔有眼泪也无害。I say hi， 我还想要再更嗨更嗨。像摆在窗外，洒满期待。你要不要一起来？你要不要一起来？把心里打开，就听见天籁，想要的统统找回来。我今天要自由，明天也要自由。我 回来。我今天要自由，明天也要自由，我们都爱自由，自由，自由，生活就该自由。我今天要自由，明天也要自由，我们都爱自由，自由，自由，生活就该自由。我今天要自由。
来抖音极速版看视频领现金。